A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Tonight we have a special episode covering education and energy. In the first segment, I'll be shortly joined in the studio by Aditya Agrawal, co-founder and director at invest4Edu, and Peeyush Agarwal, co-founder and CEO at invest4Edu. Aditya, Peeyush, welcome to ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow. It's a pleasure to be chatting with you today.
Thank you, Ritwika. Thanks for the opportunity.
So, Aditya, let's start with you. Firstly, tell us, give us an overview of the education landscape here, the edtech landscape as well, and what role really is technology playing in reshaping this entire ecosystem?
So when we talk about the edtech environment and the edtech industry, technology has played a massive role. And if you take a look at how the edtech industry has revolutionized and evolved, tech has helped in moving from traditional learning method to more of personalized learning methods. And with the coming of AI, it's going to become even more accessible, even more better equipped for students to have personalized learning, from moving away from the traditional learning style where each and every student had to go through the entire set of subjects and their curriculum. It's more towards skill learning and professional learning. Just to give you a ballpark figure, so the industry is right now somewhere around 7.5 billion. It is estimated that it's going to grow at a CAGR of 26%, and it's going to reach about 26 to about 29 billion by 2030. So that is the kind of massive upscale that we're going to see in the edtech industry, and tech definitely is going to play a massive role in revolutionizing that.
Right. Over to you, Peeyush. Now, I understand invest4Edu, it focuses on a very holistic learning, right, for children. Tell us, what was the inspiration behind it? And like we were just talking about earlier, you guys have 7 co-founders altogether in this company. So Tell us a little bit more about the backstory.
Sure. So the inspiration for this whole idea was actually the sort of the journey that each one of us has gone through right from the childhood. So I'm in a family where we have 4 brothers, and my dad is an engineer, and my elder 2 brothers are engineers. So by default, the aura of the home was that you need to go towards maths, you need to take engineering, irrespective of what individual's interest is, what is something which could be a strength. You go with the flow. So that's how the education things has been picked up in India, about how somebody else is doing it or what is something which is a safe option.
Sure.
Another aspect of that is, let's say when I went for my higher educations for my MTech, the financial planning was not to an extent that it could be self-funded. So we basically have to pledge all our policies to get a loan for me to do that.
Right.
And that's exactly the inspiration of invest4Edu, where we are trying to build that education planning for the kids so that it is more aligned towards what is right for that kid, as well as help the parents towards doing a proper financial planning so that the journey that is being worked upon could be executed without a burden to the parent towards their retirement age.
Right. So then tell me, what makes your platform stand out from the other education-related platforms in the market?
Yeah. So I think that's an interesting question. So the core propositions that we are looking forward to is that we all say every day that every child is unique. But how do we pen down that a child is unique? And that's what is our starting proposition, where we do have a very comprehensive test and counseling sessions with which we first identify a student persona. Once we identify a student persona, we basically look at what is the right target for them. And there we basically engage the student, parents, could be educators, and all the data that we can basically have about the student to ensure that we can get to a right target for them. The target could be a college, it could be a test, it could be a career, it could be even a country. So depending upon that target, then we work towards identifying a complete education journey in terms of what exactly is the test that they need to get to. So we put all of these things together to create that end-to-end journey, and then we look at what is the cost of this journey.
Fantastic. And just picking up from what you said, Aditya, coming to you, the future cost calculator, that is a very unique feature, of the platform. So tell us how it works and how does it help parents, plan their child's, education in the years to come?
So Ritwika, it's been built very thoughtfully. So the idea behind the education cost calculator is to give an accurate future cost of education, could be in India or abroad. And especially when we talk about UG and PG, that is when the maximum outflow that the parent has to go for their kids' higher education. Now, the calculator has been built in such a way where we have taken the general inflation separately and the education inflation separately. Just to give you a stat, education inflation in India is somewhere around 13 to 14%. That means education cost doubles every 5 to 6 years, and that is the highest inflation that you see across. So, which is why what we have done is we have taken a general inflation separately to arrive at the cost of living, and education cost separately to arrive at the actual cost of education. And we have clubbed it together to arrive at an accurate future cost of education. Now, if a parent wants to send their child outside India, say US, and they already have their relatives or friends staying in US, and they know that they not need to spend on the cost of living, so they can actually deduct the cost of living and just save for the education cost, which has been arrived looking at that country's education inflation. So what we have added additionally is not decided yet option. So if it's a country and if you say that I have not yet decided whether it's India or study abroad, whether it's engineering or MBA or anything, so you put a not decided there as well, and we will give you a rough cost of future, maybe 10 years from now, what would the future cost of education, and accordingly you can start planning for your child.
That's very interesting. Peeyush, coming to you now, invest4Edu also helps children find their strengths, to discover their learning styles, right? And also like the career options that, you were mentioning about earlier. Tell me, how important is, this personalized approach in the industry today?
The whole world or the tech sector is moving towards personalized learning because people have got a better understanding and a better appreciation of that every kid is unique and you cannot paint everybody with the same brush.
Right.
But the thing is, whether somebody is equipped to identify and narrow down how this kid is different with the other kid. And I think that is where it is quite important to assess the kid in terms of the right tools and the right expertise to ensure that we are creating a right student persona, so that the recommendation that will be coming for that is going to basically be more and more aligned. So two things that we always try to basically get to is, one is how we can ensure that we can have a passion to profession journey. And second is, which is a precursor to that, is how we can move from a confusion to clarity state.
And just to add to that, I think so we have recoined KYC on a platform as Know Your Child. So we tell our parents, why don't you come on a platform and do a KYC for your child, which is Know Your Child, through these series of tests that just Peeyush spoke about.
Fantastic. But Aditya, tell me, how challenging is it to scale, such a business? I know you have raised funds. If you can just talk to us about that journey, about raising capital, especially for a company that is in today's education sector.
So Ritwika, as you would know, it's dried up right now, raising funds right now, and especially if you're in the edtech space, it is even more difficult for obvious reasons. But yeah, we have been lucky enough. The proposition has been so compelling and so interesting. Like we are not into in the business of providing education or teaching anything to the student. We are a platform which mixes planning for your child's higher education in terms of how to fund, how to invest, and also help the child in identifying their potential. So that is unique in itself, and I am not sure if any company is doing that now in India. So we are also unique in that ways. So we were lucky in that sense to be able to raise certain funds. And if I talk about raising funds, it was challenging, but we were lucky enough to get that. So we have moved into a model of phygital, where we will spend some kind of money towards digital marketing, and a lot of money will also be spent on ground activities and to make sure that the presence on ground.
Fantastic. And well, Peeyush, tell me, where do you see the company growing in the next 5-10 years perhaps, and how do you see really impacting children's education as a large factor?
So we see that there is probably multiple areas where we would like to establish our company as we move forward. And if I start drilling down, and maybe Adi can add to that, is the first one is what Adi talked about. We would like to establish ourselves as a reliable, trusted source of information which helps students to sort of plan it out their whole career, whole journey, and for parents to plan it out the whole financial part of that. The second area where we basically look forward to is more about strengthening the education journey part of that. Every day there will be a new skill that will be coming. Every, let's say, few years there will be a new career that will be coming. How exactly we are going to keep maturing our system, our AI models, to ensure that our models, our system, our recommendations is going along with the pace of, let's say, the whole ecosystem. The third one is sort of business numbers that we look forward to, where we'll be keep on putting more and more numbers to that. So we would like to basically get to, let's say, 5 million users. We would like to basically get to 2,000 plus cities. So that's the type of penetration which Adi was also referring to, that we would like to go to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities, and then make everybody available with that thing that they can basically move forward. For every country, okay, the students are the future. Okay, and we know that we are sort of in a real growing age at this moment from a country perspective, and we would like to basically contribute significantly to that. So more and more we can empower students to basically get to their potential. The byproduct of that is going to be the whole country will grow, and that's where we would like to contribute as much as possible towards, let's say, Viksit Bharat.
Fantastic.
As you would know,
Aditya,
Ritwika, also just to add to it, India's population is the youngest in the world right now. And if you talk about, just to give you another stat, the number of students in India is the highest in the world right now. So you're looking at that population, and imagine if that population gets the proper education and the proper guidance to get to what they want, the kind of motivation factor it will be for that generation, and the contribution that they will do towards the economy if you're talking about Viksit Bharat. And if you're able to cater to that audience and solve their problem, which they're facing right now, and the future problem that they will face, nothing like it.
Fantastic. Well, it was lovely chatting with the both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.